That's pretty good. Yeah, okay. I think we're about ready to begin. Let's do it. Holy smoking pipe, Padre. Coming back at you with another scintillating video using the Sennheiser. Let's see if I can get this up just a little bit more. There we go. Ooh, yeah. Okay. The Sennheiser 416 and the Rode NTG3. That's a little bit on the loud side there. Okay, we can turn that down just a bit there. Okay, that's good. Oh, I like that. Okay, that's good. That's good. All right, good. Okay. Let's get the old pipe going here. Yeah. Good evening there, Pipe House. Just kind of playing around with the old technology here. Another video. I just made another video 2 nights ago. It's going on 9 o'clock. I was thinking about going out and seeing the Dune movie. It's playing here one last night. But for some reason, I might go down to, see, our little theater is like a little kind of like a mom and pop theater show. And it's not bad. I gotta get over here. It's not bad, but I'm just not really. I don't really like the. If you're going to see a movie like Dune, again, we don't have any IMAX theaters around here, but basically, I think I really want to see it as best in as the most glorious presentation that I can see, and our just little mom and pop theater is it's a step up from my surround sound TV, my Sony Bravia. So I got all the sound I need, that's for sure. But I just don't know if I'd want to see it the first time on just kind of an average, kind of even a little bit subpar theater. And because I hear this is really a kind of a real experience. It's very, very experiential. So I thought, okay, well, I better kind of wait until I have a better theater watching experience. Because anyway, so I could drive down to. There's a nice cinema down near the Apple Store in Reno, and maybe I could go tomorrow night. No, I can't go tomorrow night. Nope. No. Anyway, I'll just have to wait till whenever. So. Anyway, and then eventually it's going to come to streaming, and so that's probably what will happen. I'll probably watch it on Apple when it streams onto the Apple TV. So maybe that's what will happen. So I guess I'll just have to just kind of wait. Let's see. Maybe I could probably go. Maybe I could go Sunday night. Yeah, maybe I could do that. So let's just wait and see. Okay, so, but I did want to talk about Dune again. Oh, I was going to tell you, I'm smoking this is one of my Ben Wades. And I was actually going to get rid of this pipe because it's temperamental. It's sort of like right now it's getting, well, no, it's not getting too hot. But it can get hot. It can get real hot real fast. Let's see if I go this way. If I go this way, yeah, okay. So it can get real hot real fast. So I always liked this pipe, and I've had it for decades now. And it's kind of interesting because pipes are, if you buy a good pipe, it's going to last you a lifetime. And then some. So really enjoying this. I kind of call this like a sipping pipe, because you don't really want to be going too hard and fast, because it will heat up on you real quick. So that's pretty much what I I kind of want to avoid doing. So, but after I kind of one day, maybe it was about a year or so ago, I kind of pulled it out, and I kind of thought, well, maybe it's not such a bad pipe after all. Maybe I'll keep it. We'll just see. But anyway, so it's not a bad pipe. It's like I said, you just have to know how to smoke it right. That's just the way it is. Okay, so all right, so I'm back here with another video. Now, some of you are probably getting really tired of seeing me, because I haven't really been. I've had a consistent presence on the old YouTube pipe community for years, and I was kind of down to basically making one video a month. And but as I started kind of getting more interested in video and audio and cameras and photography and videography and documentary stuff, and just like, okay, I'm gonna kind of see where I can take this. And so now I'm enjoying a kind of a little bit of a renaissance, if you will, in video recording. And so just having a lot of fun with it, just playing around with the different tools. You can see some of the stuff there, a lot of this stuff. I've got 3 camera angles there. I was going to try and do a fourth one, but I just kind of like gave up because I got kind of frustrated with trying to figure out how to get 3. So there you go. So anyway, I got a little bit of Papa Bear coffee here. Decaf still. But getting closer to the day I get, I'll be able to do some real caffeine back in my life in about 10 days. Really looking forward to that, let me tell you, pipe pals. Yeah. So, so I'm going to talk about 2 things tonight. And the first one, I will talk a little bit about Dune. Now, why is that? Okay, I'm going to try something here. Wait a minute, what happened there? Testing. Oh my goodness, what happened there? What happened there? Okay, testing. Oh, what is going on there? I don't know. Testing. Okay. Okay, I probably shouldn't do that with cardioid mics, but anyway, I don't know what. I thought that was gain on. Wait a minute. Okay, well, testing 1 2, 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 testing. Okay, testing 1 2, testing. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, testing. Okay, all right. So, so as I was watching some more Dune reviews, and tried that for a little while there. And so again, as I kind of said in my last video a couple of nights ago, that Paul Atreides is, of course, according to Frank Herbert, I think I finally got his name right. I was calling him George. Well, he kind of looks like a George, okay? But Frank Herbert, was trying to make a statement that you can't trust authority. He kind of said that people that are attracted to power attracts the corruptible. Okay, and again, obviously we have lots of examples from history that are replete of people who have tried to take power unto themselves and it corrupted them. And or they were already corrupt. And like a moth to a candle flame. They are, let me do this here, they are attracted to power, and that's what basically is their undoing. And so, Frank Herbert basically says that it's not just their corruption, love of power, that's the bad thing. The bad thing is that the people that go with them, the people that are attracted to them, they get sucked into that black hole of corruption. And yeah, I mean, it's hard in some ways to argue against that. Again, because we have so many examples from history that prove that to some extent he's right. But then again, there's also examples from history that can show people in a leadership authority, people in power can be good leaders. They can bring about good. And you could say things. I mean, again, now anybody will find fault. You can find fault. For example, Mother Teresa of Calcutta, when they were going to canonize her a few years ago, I couldn't believe the hate and the vitriol that was coming against Mother Teresa of Calcutta. And essentially they were saying, well, she took all that money and she didn't really help anybody. She just helped people to die. Yeah, most of those people were terminal. What did you expect her to do? Spend $40,000 on one person and have them die? Or take that $40,000 and give comfort to people that were dying? So, but again, even if you are a good person, even if you haven't misused your power, or you aren't corrupt, and you actually have helped people, and there's lots of good examples of those people out there too. In fact, I'd say the average John Q. Public or Joan Q. Public are people just like that. If they are in some kind of a leadership position, they're trying to do good for others. Now, the problem is it only takes one person. It only takes just, one person to give everybody else a bad name. And of course, there are lots of people who take advantage, and they cheat people, they hurt people. There's no doubt about it. But, as I said, there are good examples of people. Now, the problem with the Dune movie now is that, okay, you go back to this Paul Atreides guy, and he's starts off as kind of an innocent guy. He seems like he's trying to do the right thing, and he tries to, I guess, learn the ways of the Fremen people or the Farini people. I know that's probably not the right name. But so in the beginning, he's trying to do, I guess, the right thing. Okay? But apparently he does allow the power to corrupt him. And so, but a part of this is, now this is something I've been talking, just had a talk with somebody today about why young people, just don't find the encouragement and the comfort and the inspiration in, say, the Catholic faith or any kind of Christian faith. Now, there are some that do, some that can find their way to a saving knowledge, of God in the church, in the Bible, in the scriptures. But I noticed that another theme that is playing out big time, I guess, in the Dune 2 movie is that the girl, the love interest of Paul, she, I guess, is somebody who is completely somebody who is like a young person who doesn't believe in prophecy and religion or faith. And in fact, she's like saying, this is how they enslave us with these false prophecies. And I really think that probably, sadly, that resonates probably with a lot of young people today. They have basically been sold a lie, not on personal experience. Most of them, it's just, oh, well, religion's bad and you can't trust it. Now, I remember being 16 years old, a long time ago, early Devonian period. And yeah, there was a sense that, well, maybe you had a grandmother that went to church and you loved your grandmother and you thought the world of your grandmother, but church was for old people. I thought, well, when I'm getting ready to die, maybe I'll get religion, kind of thing. And I think that it's still, to some extent, that might be part of it, but now it's all lies. Religion's all lies. All the movies you've seen in the last 20, 30 years, it portrays religion as just, again, corrupt. Now, and the problem is that yes, there are corrupt people. Sad to say, that have hurt people, have misled people. And yes, it only takes one bad apple to spoil the whole bunch, and that's for sure. And that's kind of the sad commentary on religious faith, I guess, in our culture today. People actually put more trust, and this is kind of mind-boggling. They put more trust in, when I say science, I wouldn't say science per se, I'd say technology and pharmacology. People are, they're looking at, drugs to save them instead of God to save them. They don't, maybe they don't trust the government to save them, but they do kind of trust pharmacology, especially if they've been eating unhealthy diets like we all do. And then they, start forming type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure and, all the other ailments that come from eating a really bad standard American diet. And then they get themselves in trouble, and then they look to pharmacology to save them. And so, but as far as religious faith or belief in God, they've been kind of told that you can't trust that. That's not something that's real, or, what's real is science and technology, And that's kind of interesting, because now we have, things like the Apple Vision Pro and the Quest, and, again, it's not reality, it's augmented and virtual reality, but they think that that's the future, and a lot of people really believe in their online presence, as far as, I have my online friends, and those are my real friends. Well, I have, if you believe that, I have a bridge in Brooklyn I'd love to sell you. And again, they think that, pharmacology and medicine will be their savior, and it's just, it's not true. I mean, all drugs have side effects, and some of those side effects are probably worse than the disease or the illness you're trying to moderate. Because I guess drugs really don't heal you. They can mask symptoms. They can maybe control certain bodily functions, regulate those maybe through chemistry and drugs. But at the end of the day, it's just a Band-Aid. It's not really there to really help you, to find a cure. Find a cure. So that's kind of the grim reality, is that you kind of make a Faustian bargain with a lot of these drugs. Now, I'm not against pharmaceuticals in their proper form. When you're in real pain. You're in real pain. Vicodin is a wonder drug. I guess oxycodone is a wonder drug when you're in real serious pain. But, if you're at level 3 pain and you're trying to take one of those, those are powerful pain relievers or painkillers. It's going to actually make you sick. It's not going to help you. To the extent of the pain, that drug will be there to rise up to that level. So if it's a high level of pain, that drug will work. But if it's a low level of pain, it's like taking a shotgun to a mosquito. It's overkill. And then people get addicted and they get dependent upon those drugs. So, yeah, it's not a good thing, pipe pals and gals. So, but again, young people today have a real distrust of religion. Now, if it was based on personal experience, I remember when the priest scandal was brewing and going hot and heavy, and a lot of people were so angry, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. I don't tell them they shouldn't be angry. I was angry, but then I would ask them. I would say, "Well, I'm sorry. Obviously, you have a lot of emotion about this," and I'd say, "Can I ask, were you abused by a priest?" And they go, "Well, no, but I've watched the news. I watch CNN. I watch MSNBC, and I know what all these bad priests have been doing." I go, okay. And I'd say I think it would be fair to say 7 out of 10 people that I would ask that question, especially they would kind of like come at me because, I wear one of these, and it's sort of like I was open season on anybody that was, showing themselves to be a priest, like they would kind of take it out on you, And, but I would try to say, "I'm sorry, I didn't know you were abused." "Well, I wasn't, but I read about it on, Reddit or something like that, or, Now, to be sure, when the Pennsylvania grand jury published not only the number of victims, but actually the names of the victims and the names of the perpetrators, that was like pulling off a Band-Aid off of a raw wound. That was really painful for everybody. And so unfortunately, most people just read about it. It's like if you, read about, a disaster, a natural disaster, you're not really there, but you can have empathy and compassion, but, you don't know all the facts because all you're doing is getting the information from a third-hand source. And so I think that, a lot of people can be, spun up emotionally and again, a lot of us, we really kind of lead with our feelings, our hearts on our sleeves. And in some ways that's good if it leads you and motivates you to do compassionate things. But if it leads you into rage and anger, that's never really a good thing. Again, anger can be a positive motivating force if it's channeled correctly. It's like, nuclear fusion, if you have it contained and you're monitoring it, regulating it, you're, doing all the maintenance to keep it safe, it can light cities, great. But if it's left unattended and it melts down, you've got a real mess on your hands. So, but unfortunately, a lot of people, I think, were scandalized, and then a lot of young people basically, the real problem with quote-unquote organized religion or Christian faith, and they there may not always be one and the same. They kind of like those Euler diagrams, they intersect to some extent, they do. But basically, by and large, and I think this is an honest statement, it's not so much people don't believe in God or they don't want to believe in God, but the assumption or the understanding, I should say, that comes with it is essentially I'm going to have to surrender my life to what God says, through the scriptures and as the church teaches those, okay? And a lot of people, they feel like, well, you know what? I don't want to have some external authority telling me, basically what to do. I want to do it my way. I want to be the captain of my own soul type of thing, And I understand that. We all do. I mean, we want autonomy. But the problem is for most of us, we get ourselves into trouble. And that's why, first of all, we need a Savior because we're sinful, we're sinners. And if we don't have a Savior, then if we die in our state of mortal sin, we die with sin, unconfessed sin in our lives, the prospects are not very good. Now, again, that's not me saying that. I didn't make that up. I'm not trying to lay a guilt trip on people, but that is the reality. And again, if we are going to take as our authority the apostolic faith, the Orthodox apostolic faith, then that's the authority that we have to eventually wrestle with. We have to come to terms with. And that's why I think we're having problems today in not only our society, but certainly in the church. And it's not just the Catholic Church. It's actually even in the Protestant denominations, the mainline denominations, and even the evangelical non-denominational groups. They're also having problems with people that are trying to basically discredit, dismantle the scriptural teachings that are found in the Bible. And unfortunately, they're kind of bought into this woke generation, as a lot of people do. And so there's no real accountability. There's no honesty. It's like, it's kind of like Barney theology. I love you, you love me, we all love everybody, that kind of stuff. So, and great, yes, Jesus did teach love, but it was love based on truth. And a lot of people don't want the truth because it's hard to hear. And unfortunately, a lot of people, again, want to kind of mix the Christian faith with a lot of New World religion, the New Age, wokeism, the politically correct, liberal stuff, syncretism. Kind of like saying, Jesus and Buddha are kind of the same thing, and it doesn't matter who you believe, just as long as you're nice. You're a nice person. Just be a nice person, okay? Actually, to be honest with you, that is good. I'm smoking this Autumn Breeze. I think I forgot to tell you that. This Ben Wade and the Autumn Breeze from now the former Briar Patch. Love that store. Love that store. This is good. But when that Autumn Breeze is gone, Pipe Pals, it's gone forever. A sipping pipe, yeah. That is good. So, now where was I at? My short-term memory isn't what it used to be. I don't have time to run back and rewind this thing, so I'll just have to just kind of move on, I guess. But, a lot of people just don't want to, they just want to have I don't know what it is they want. The people that are kind of still trying to find religious faith, and God bless them, the ones that are trying, but when the scriptures are clear, the teachings of the faith are clear, and yet they reject them. Because why? One, it's inconvenient, or, I have a certain lifestyle that I don't want anybody to challenge me on. And you show them from the scriptures that these lifestyles or these attitudes or these ideas, these notions are not Christian. They're not biblical. Then they're in a real dilemma, because then they're going, well, wait a minute. You're telling me that what I believe is wrong? And I'm going, well, I'm not telling you that. That's what the scriptures say. And this is where we're at. People are basically trying to rewrite their own scriptures, and they're trying to make up their own Christianity to suit their lifestyles. And Christianity has always been, believe it or not, countercultural. Always has been from the very first day after Jesus rose. It was sort of like, are you going to believe in the risen Lord, or are you going to walk away from that? Are you going to go do something else? Is it too much to believe? So it kind of gets me to my next point. I was watching Dr. Taylor Marshall. He is a very well-known, very highly followed Catholic YouTuber. And he's from Texas. He be a Texican. Remember the Alamo. And anyway, so apparently, this is March 21st, 22nd, I think. Anyway, apparently, somebody in the Vatican said the following thing. He said, being against the antidote, and I'll use Taylor Marshall's little pet phrase for that, the pokey poke, is an almost suicidal act of denial. Now, I thought I had turned on a video that was like 2 years old, 3 years old, and this is this is coming out of the headquarters, the company headquarters in Rome, today or yesterday, or a couple days ago. And I think most people, we might remember the pandemic for the most part, the unspecified virus of unknown origin, But for the most part, I think most of us would probably agree that we've passed that hurdle. That's over. And so it's kind of interesting because this just came out either, like I said, in the last couple of days. But being against the antidote is an almost suicidal act of denial. And I think they went on to say people that were opposed to the quote-unquote medicines that were being distributed at the time, we were bad people, Now, I chose to not partake of said experimental mRNA gene therapies. Thank you very much. And I got ill twice. First time was really bad. The second time was kind of just a nuisance. When I say bad, I mean it just really drained me, and it was uncomfortable. And but God's grace, I got through it. And maybe it's because I think I'm still, even though I'm an older guy, I still had a fairly okay immune system. But it's interesting because everybody that I know that did get the pokey poke, they got sick. And some of them got sicker than anything. They thought they were going to, if they thought it was going to be safe and effective, and it wasn't effective. Just saying. And now, again, I think, again, I had four criteria. For what I made my decision on. First and foremost, as a Catholic Christian, because the preparations were developed and produced using stem cells of aborted babies. And we cannot be participating in any way, no matter how quote-unquote removed it is, you can't be participating in abortion, okay? So those preparations were clearly, some of them were produced. They were all developed, though. The DNR was developed using aborted stem cell little innocent babies, okay? Be like using Holocaust victims. Can you say Dr. Mingala? I knew you could. Yes, I knew you could, pipe pals, yeah. And so that would be ethically wrong. exploiting another human being just so that you might have a chance to live, okay? So that's wrong, okay? Abortion's evil and wrong. It's killing an innocent human being, okay? Against their will, okay? So that's criteria number one. It was associated clearly. Abortion was the antecedents for these preparations. So, it'd be like somebody. Another way of looking at it, somebody steals, $1,000 from your grandmother, and says, "Oh, I want to be charitable and give it to you." Well, that's wrong. You acquired that money in an immoral, unethical, illegal way. So number one, that's first criteria, it was tainted with abortion. Okay? Tainted by abortion. The second one was, and it's still true to this day, we did not know at the time, and we still don't know, although it looks like there were some really serious side effects due to the preparations. I'm not talking about preparation H now, okay? That might be a pain in the butt for some people, but the reality is that's not what I'm talking about. And I remember having a conversation with a doctor, and I was going to try to tell him my first criteria about abortion, but I thought he ain't going to hear that. That's just going to make, this guy was already angry when I came in, and you got whatever it was going around, okay? And so he goes, "Well, why are you against this?" And I said, and I thought, I can at least, I think number two is still valid, very valid. I said, we don't know the long-range side effects. That's BS. He got really angry when I said that. I mean, just imagine if I said the abortion thing. He probably would have hit me or something, or threw me out of his office. And I said, we don't really know. Well, these are safe and blah, 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 blah. And he just went on and on and on. And finally, I guess he got tired of listening to himself talk after 5 minutes and chewing me out. And then he said, and he kind of like gave me some remedy stuff to go home with. And that was about it, A lot of help that guy was. And so that was the second criteria. This third criteria, the third criteria for me was that, I knew vaccine injuries were a real thing because I actually had a vaccine injury due to the shingles vaccine. And I wish today I had gotten more information on that. But that really did mess me up. It really, really did. And I paid kind of a really big price for that one. So, and the fourth one was if you're being coerced. If somebody is literally, shaking their fist at you and demanding that you do this, where's your free will in that? So those were my four criteria, and those, I think they're still valid to this very day, especially this coercion one. And so when we're told by, ecclesiastical authorities that we're supposed to, get get the antidote, and if we don't, we're being we're being risky. It's an act of denial, and boy, I tell you, it seems like every day the faith that I believe, and I still believe, it's not being held by the people that are the authorities now. I don't know how to say it other than that. It's kind of like the analogy of the cuckoo bird, You got another completely different ideology that's reigning, in Rome. It's like, well, what's going on here? What are they thinking? Now, I'll say this, and again, some people might be, I wouldn't say scandalized, but they might want to take, objection to what I'm about to say. But I'm thinking that, to be honest and charitable, an ecclesiastical person like myself or somebody else higher up, we don't have medical competence. I mean, unless you're an MD, maybe a researcher, you understand immunology and virology and all those other ologies. You studied those and you have a good working knowledge of of how these things really work. I think a lot of people really didn't have a lot of real understanding how all of these things worked, or didn't work in some cases. But if I was trying to tell you, that's why a lot of people, when they do health and fitness channels, if they're smart, they put a little disclaimer like, hey, I'm not offering you any medical advice. I'm just giving you my personal experience on how this has worked for me, but I'm not telling you what to do, because I'm not a doctor. I'm not a professional. I don't have the degrees. I don't have the certification, more importantly, to be able to give you that authoritative, yeah, you should do this, or this is good for you, or whatever. I can tell you that, after eating maybe a carnivore diet for almost 2 months, I started feeling really great. It's true. Unfortunately, I fell off the wagon a few days ago and started eating bread and a couple of treats because I went out to dinner. And man, I tell you, I won't go into that right now. But the bottom line is that when you start dispensing certain information as you're like an authority, but you're not, and somebody gets hurt, guess what? You're liable. And I hate to say this, but I wouldn't be surprised in the next year or two, people who were pretty much told, you must get this preparation. And maybe they did, and they got an injury. And maybe they got sicker. Maybe they're still suffering from the results of this, okay? Just saying, just like everything else, there's going to start being class action lawsuits, and they'll say, well, I was told to get this by my, whoever the, ecclesiastical authority was, a priest or a bishop or whatever. They had no business mandating people. There were some places that you couldn't even go to church unless you had been the recipient of the preparation. They were, and even if you were, and then that's another thing. They would try to force you to give your medical status. Well, that's a violation of HIPAA. You can't do that. That's illegal. That's against the law. And so, I'm just thinking that history is starting to show very clearly that this whole thing was, it just didn't work. And a lot of people also got injured as a result. So it's like, but again, they're starting to see this. And it's interesting because I remember after the last time I had it, 2 years ago, and I had a physical, and then I think I actually did get bronchitis or something. I can't remember. And I just remember that whereas, 3-4 years ago, they were like, really like, you will do this or else, they don't even mention it, I even had to bring it up. I said, you didn't mention blah, 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 blah. And they said, oh yeah, that's right. Well, you want to try one of our, preparations today? And I said, no, thank you. See how easy that was? No, thank you. And they went, okay, that was it. No lecturing, no guilting, no shaming, no, none of that. None of that. It was almost like they didn't want to talk about that anymore. So, but I think as we move forward, I think a lot of people are going to be coming forward, literally, and they're going to be hurt. They're going to maybe be irreparably hurt because of these things. And, I think people are going to have some legal recourse to say, hey, I know there were other industries that forced their employees. Oh, low battery. Your Mac will soon, unless plugged into a power source. Okay, Pi Pals, I guess that's my little message to say bring this to a close. So thank you again for watching. How many minutes do I have here? Oh, only 45. Oh, that's not bad. So take care, light up your world, and light up your pipe, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, too. And thanks for all the good comments. I really appreciate it. Okay. Take care now. Bye-bye.